Cam put it best on the record Take Them to Church off of his 4th studio album, which was released in the year 2004. One glare and wink, everybody wearing pink. The man, the meme, the moment. Cameron Giles has been a trendsetter for decades now and took the early aughts by storm. Camron, who began his musical run in the mid-1990s rapping alongside Big L, Mace, and his cousin in a group called Children of the Corn, later on went to co-found The Diplomats with childhood friends Jim Jones and Freaky Zeke under his own imprint, later welcoming Joel Santana, the 4th and final addition to the Diplomats crew. History was about to be made. As they began featuring each other on their solo projects, their popularity quickly grew due to their catchy slew of hits, flashy outfits, decked out everything, and overall persona, and soon began accruing a lot of steam. Cam himself had already broken into the top 20 of the US Billboard 200 by this point, with tracks like Oh Boy, Hey Ma, and even developed a penchant for thinking outside of the box when it came to fashion choices, regularly sporting fits with some hue of pink, whether it was head to toe or on oversized airbrushed tees and minks. Cam brought the flavor, and he did so in an era of hip-hop when the general consensus and culture was arguably misogynistic and hyper-masculine, with lyrics that would have you blushing and images that didn't always paint the eye candy, i.e. the video models, in a flattering or tasteful way. Seemingly at the top of the world, and with an in-depth understanding of how the industry works, Cam's influence on hip-hop and pop culture in general would soon grow, continuously proving that he understood the assignment. But what exactly solidified Camron as a fashion icon? It's 2002, and people are outside the iconic Baby Fat runway show, where Cam, noting that his longtime childhood friend and then Rockefeller CEO Dame Dash is attending the event, Cam decides to pull up as well. This being his first time at the NY Fashion Week, and in typical Camron fashion, Cam is adamant that if he's going to attend the city's biggest fashion event as well, he has to make a statement, noting the importance of his own personal branding. The result? Cam pulls up in the same mink that he had before, with a matching flip-flop as just the right accessory this time. The look set revelers ablaze with intrigue and some with envy. He was truly the man of the hour. At the time, his personal stylist Monica had the idea to put the Harlem rapper in pink from head to toe in music videos and public appearances, and surprisingly, despite the hyper-masculine world of the early 2000s hip-hop, this worked ingeniously. This was true to his style and persona, and his stylist Monica couldn't have been more right. So it was to no one's surprise that he turned heads at the early 2000s New York Fashion Week event, as he was known to have eccentric styles and step out of the cultural and fashion norms to create iconic looks. Instantly, the color, a distinctive feature of his image, would reappear on everything, from TV appearances, several music videos and fashion brand items, and of course, his legendary Range Rover, which was all pink, including the seats and other accessories. To his recollection, the next day, Camron appeared on page 6 in the New York Post. He made the 3rd page of the New York Daily News. Pink fur was now a hip-hop emblem. Brands like Fat Farm added Argyle sweaters, baseball caps, cardigans, wool hats, and shoes to the 2004 collection that heavily leaned into the trendy pink-colored items, reminiscent of the flashy Dipset member. Sporting goods stores had also begun carrying racks of menswear from caps to sneakers in that legendary color, as seen on the likes of Joseph Simmons, otherwise known as Rev Run or DJ Run, P. Diddy, Andre 3000, amongst many more. In typical Harlem fashion, one Harlem menswear store was even said to have sold more than 30 pink suits in less than a month. His influence was really nothing to be sneezed at. The once considered overly feminine hue soon crossed over onto the backs of hip-hop's most notable style icons. Rappers and other huge hip-hop personalities who would have never worn the shade in the 90s were now all over the trend by the mid-2000s, and pink was all over hip-hop. As time went on, the group of friends began facing bad publicity due to their influence on hip-hop and its patrons after, among the positive spins to the Dipset era, there was a case of 10 homicides in New York carried out by a 12-member gang who all shared a liking for pink and who went by the moniker Dipset. Cam subsequently appeared on interviews where he attempted to explain his stance despite growing concerns over rap's effect on the masses as it pertains to some of the more aggressive side of the genre. However, because he stood on his principles and refused to be inauthentic in his responses, the legendary artist further dug in his heels to the chagrin of those concerned with the rapper's influence.
Welcome to Eye to Eye. Rapper Camron has made millions from his lyrics about life in the mean streets of Harlem. And a big part of his hip-hop culture is keeping your mouth shut when the cops come around. He told CNN's Anderson Cooper on 60 Minutes why he'd rather be silent than a snitch.
If you had seen who shot you, would you have told police?
No.
Why?
Because the type of business I'm in, it would definitely hurt my business. And the way that I was raised, I just don't do that. I was raised differently, not to tell.
A lot of people, though, hearing that are going to say that that's not a good thing.
The people that say it's not a good thing are most likely the people that don't buy my records. You know what I'm saying? The people that buy my records kind of understand where I'm coming from. I have a fan base of 500,000 people, which means every time my album comes out, I sell 500,000 on a good day, on a bad day. On a great day, I sell 2 million records. So basically, the people who would say that that isn't a good thing, I don't think those are the same people that buy my album. The people that buy my music will understand why I'm saying what I'm saying.
It's not your responsibility.
Exactly.
Is there any situation where you think it's okay to talk to the police?
Yeah, definitely. Say hello, how you feel, everything all right, period.
It was in these interviews that he really let his comedic side show, garnering even more love from his fans and supporters, gaining a whole new slew of supporters, and in general, the clip becoming a meme years later. Joel Santana had this to say about the shared concerns in a 2005 Bby magazine article. They love how we move, they love how we dress. It's almost like he shrugged off. Regardless, the Baby Fat Ensemble launched his entire look into the stratosphere. He has been quoted saying that he didn't particularly fancy how his image and likeness was heavily used without him getting a piece of the pie. And so later on, he registered the self-coined Illa Pink, to be precise, with Color Authority Pantone. While many a fan were reveling in the iconic moment, Prodigy, the recently deceased member of Mobb Deep, claimed that he did it first, writing in his autobiography that Cam was inspired by his pink getup after seeing him in LA. But even then, yet another hip-hop legend, Big Boy, half of the sonically genius duo Outkast, had also been rocking a pink plush getup a year before Cam's iconic moment on the 2001 VMA red carpet. As the 2000s and 2010s rolled in, Kanye West also took the hue and mixed it with his own preppy style, later rapping that he was doing pretty hood in his pink polo on Barry Bonds. Whereas the likes of Pharrell, Diddy, Nelly, and later on even Drake were also seen to be impartial to the color. Today, the mere mention of the name Camron, even if not overly familiar with his music, instantly conjures up that image. Often replicated, never duplicated. Never mind that the moment occurred in an era where pop culture was hyper-stylized, often at the expense of any sense of timelessness, the image remains relevant today and will forever be iconic. And despite sporting a flip phone, what he had done is predict the future. Camron had created yet another memeable moment, only this time it was a fashion meme, long before fashion memes existed. In recent years, we've seen tons of recreations of the iconic style, including by Diddy's very own King Combs and his then-girlfriend Bria Hicks and Lil Nas X, among other thousands of fashion enthusiasts. Every other Halloween, you're sure to see someone rock a fit inspired by the legendary look and style. Camron's ensemble was put up for auction in 2014 for a whopping $75,000. It was custom made and had set him back $5,000 when he first copped it. Since then, he's gone on to put out the Old Boy cologne line, got his own cereal box, and even created a natural supplement under the name Pink Horsepower. Dipset went further to capitalize off of the fame garnered during the height of their notoriety by creating Dipset Couture. Founded by Cam himself, the brand caters to the hip-hop veterans' fan base with exceptional pieces that reflect their own personal style.
You got the cologne?
Yeah, you could get that at www.harlemdiplomat.com. And I got a clothing line, Dipset Apparel, and I got a set of furs coming out this winter.
Really?
Yeah, definitely, for real.
Wow.
When asked about his earlier memories of where his style inspiration came from, Cam recalled how difficult it was to stand out style-wise in the neighborhood he grew up in Harlem. He further went on to explain, "My brother Huddy Combs and I would always make it a challenge to think out of the box and travel for clothes. We traveled to Banana Republic before anyone was wearing BR. We'd go to Delancey Street and get jackets with tassels before anyone wore jackets with tassels. We used to get on the buses and trains just to go to different places to get clothes that weren't in our neighborhood. It was so hard to compete." As far as who inspired his fashion sense, as it pertains to who he looks up to, he had this to say. "When I was young, I wanted to be like the rappers. I remember being in junior high, wanting a fisherman hat with a link because EPMD had one. I wanted to wear Adidas because Run DMC wore Adidas. As I came to my own, I just wanted to do me. There wasn't necessarily anyone who inspired me. I grew up with Big L, and he was one of the freshest dudes. He was rocking Coogee, and I was like, where did you get $700 to rock Coogee?" When I first started wearing pink, it wasn't anything I planned on doing or strategized on, but people showed me so much love for the pink mink I wore. I had to go out to Pantone and create my own color, dubbed Illa Pink. Then I got with Reebok and said, you know what, for the next sneaker, let's make it Illa Pink. Cam has described his style as authentic, different, and fabulous. In his own words, he is the gorgeous gangster.